What's up, you guys? It's your girl, the Everyday Black Mommy, and I am here with another video for my channel. Y'all, I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair. I don't know what that is on my phone screen, but let me just adjust myself. Okay, this is gonna be a little story time. I have my Funyuns, one of my favorite chips, and I got me some, which I think is in my cup. It's so good. Okay, it's actually some lemon berry punch. It's the HEB brand, the Hill Country Fare. It's the bomb. Tastes better than Hawaiian Punch itself, y'all. So go get you some. Anyway, I believe it or not, let me open my fingers up, y'all. Have been getting a lot of questions about me being a mom of 7, y'all. It's funny because some people think it's like the plague or something because I have 7 kids, y'all. It's not what you think it is. I'm trying to fix my screen, y'all. Sorry. It's not what you think it is. It's not for everybody. I get that. And I am a mom of 7. I have 4 boys and 3 girls. My oldest being a girl. Leah is about to be 20 years old. I had her July 28th, 2000 is her birthday. She's a firecracker. And I found out I was pregnant with her when I was 17 years old. It was a funny story behind that. It wasn't funny, but it was funny. It's funny to me now, but back then it wasn't funny. Because I tried everything in my power to hide that pregnancy from my mama, y'all. I tried so hard. I really can't even eat the Funyuns and talk. So I'm just going to tell y'all. Yeah, I found out I was pregnant with her when I was 17. No, when I was 16 years old. No, when I was 17 because I had her when I was 18. So, anywho, it was one day I was really sick in the house. Yeah, I didn't think I was pregnant. My friends kept telling me, oh, you pregnant, you pregnant. I'm like, dude, I'm not pregnant. It is what it is. So, we ate some spaghetti. I would never forget it. We ate some spaghetti and I got really sick. And my grandmother was in the house with us. My mom was at work, I think. So, I went in the restroom and I turned on all the water and like just made it real loud and they'll turn the music on, everything, so that nobody could hear me throwing up in the bathroom, y'all. So when I came out the door, my granny was standing on the side of the door and she was like, you want me to tell her or you gonna tell her? So I'm playing it stupid. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, don't play with me. So I was like, damn. In my head, I said, damn. But out of my mouth, I couldn't say nothing because she had really just caught me red-handed. So I told her, you tell her. And she told my mama, and I had to tell my daddy. Y'all, that was like the most hurtfulest feeling in the world when my parents found out the way they looked at me. Like, they didn't look at me any different. They were disappointed more than anything, of course. Their daughter in school, supposed to be doing other stuff, doing stuff you ain't had no business doing, and ended up pregnant, of course. That's how any parent, any real parent would look at their kids like that. But if you're not going to love them no less, you know. So my mom was like very hurt, even though she came to or whatever, and she helped me more than anybody I can think of. And my friends at school, y'all, backed me so much. They had threw me a baby shower at school. I didn't even know anything about it. They had got me a cake. I had like all kind of stuff. I had so much stuff that I had to literally not catch the bus home from school that day. I had to call a friend of mine to pick me up and take me home with all my stuff that I had got. That's how much stuff I got, and I was not expecting that from them. So my friends were a blessing to me back then because I was still in high school. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So her birth was funny then and to me now, because my mom was like, don't give her no epidural. She was out there doing some shit, had no business. She don't need no shot. Let her feel all the pain. So, you know, me being who I was, I'm big, bold, and bad. I'm like, I don't care. You ain't got to give me no epidural. Whatever. Baby, the pain was whooping my butt. But I didn't want to let my mama know that. So she went out with my cousin to go smoke a cigarette. And I think I was like 6 centimeters dilated. Mind you, I didn't know nothing about none of this. This was my first kid. So the doctor was like, well, the nurse was like, don't push, just let your contractions and stuff come and you'll dilate or whatever. Baby, every time I started hurting, I pushed with all my might. So the baby ended up coming while they was down there smoking a cigarette. It's like they walked out and 5 minutes later I had a baby because I was doing what they told me not to do. So my mama came back in. She was like, girl, you had that baby? I said, yeah, like nothing, you know what I'm saying? And when the doctor was down, he was like, yeah, she ripped herself too. So I was like, at the end of the day, I had to have stitches from the rooter to the tutor, from the front to the back, because I had like 27 stitches because I was pushing when I wasn't supposed to. So I tore myself pretty bad. But all in all, it was a natural birth. I didn't have no drugs, and it wasn't that bad. My 17-year-old self said it wasn't that bad. You know, my healing process was easy because my body was still young. So that bounce back was real. You know what I'm saying? So I bounced back, doing what I want to do. A few days out the hospital, it was what it was. Then we go to Caleb's birth. Caleb was born May 14th, 2003. His birth was fairly easy. He was another one of my natural born kids. I didn't have no drugs with him, but the story, I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this story on freaking YouTube or not, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway because I'm a honey like that. It is what it is. So okay, so I was at my mom's house and I started to have pain. My friend was over there, so yeah, I know what, I completely goofed on something with Leah's birth. I was late. She was late, so I'm gonna go back before I even go to Caleb. She was late and I wanted her out. That's how I ended up tasting castor oil for the first and last freaking time, because my mama and my friend Christy both went to Walgreens and enticed me to drink freaking castor oil and told me that would help me have my baby. Baby, I drank the castor oil, thought I was about to walk to the store after I drank it, and I almost boo-booed on myself, y'all. I wasn't going nowhere. That stuff put me on pause. I had to go back in the house and stay there. I couldn't go to the store, couldn't go outside, couldn't do nothing for the rest of the day. It didn't have me going labor that day, but the next day I did go in labor, so I do believe the castor oil worked. So I just want to throw that in there before I go over to Caleb. I skipped that. It ain't really something important, but I just wanted y'all to know. Okay, back to Caleb's birth. Yeah, we was chilling at my mama's house, me and my friend, and she was in her car, so she decided to drive me to the hospital instead of me having to take the ambulance, which I appreciate because their ride is very bumpy and uncomfortable. So she drove me to the hospital. She stayed there with me. They hooked me up, got me all together, and my baby daddy at the time came, and he was with his other friend, and they all stayed in the room with me, y'all. When you in pain, I don't know if it's other women that have had babies and experienced what I've experienced, but comment down below if you've ever been in labor and don't care who is in the room with you at the time. You just want the pain to stop and all of it to go away, because I didn't care the fact that it was another dude in there looking at my hoo-ha. I didn't care about the doctor. I didn't care about the nurses. I didn't care about my friend. I didn't care about none of that. All I wanted was the pain to stop and for the baby to get out, vacate the premises. That's all I cared about. So I pushed a few times. The labor was really quick. Like when I got to the hospital, they hooked me up, and I say I went in. I don't remember none of the times, y'all. I really don't. Big whoop on me. But I know it was nighttime. I would say we went in at about 9, and at 11 o'clock I had a baby. But it was weird with this one because the doctor was looking crazy when my baby came out, so I thought something was wrong with him. And he was like, it's smoke down there. So I'm like, what you mean smoke? I had never heard of that before in my life, y'all. But he said my baby came out in a cloud of smoke with his eyes open. So we've been making a joke for years that because my husband used to smoke, that's why the baby came out in a cloud of smoke. So that just was a funny little inside thing that we said because that's what we thought. We don't know if that's true or not, but that's what we've always said. Okay, I'm not trying not to stay on here too long. I've been on here 9 minutes, but I still, you know, I got 7 kids, so just chill, relax, and listen to the story. Now we go to Robert Jr. Robert Jr. was born August 14th, 2004. My kids are pretty much stair-step. Besides the first 2, they're spaced out a little bit. There was 2000 and 2003. Then you got 2003, 2004, 2005, 2008, 2010, 2011. Okay, so Robert Jr. was a little firecracker. He was late too, and I remember going to get my hair braided by my friend's sister. We went to her house and somebody was braiding hair over there, and I just kept feeling the urge to pee. And while she was braiding my hair, I took so many breaks, y'all. I kept running back and forth to the restroom, and I'm like, I gotta use the bathroom. I gotta use the bathroom. And the lady was like, I'm never gonna get done with your hair. So instead of me getting the style I wanted, I ended up having to get some bigger braids because of all of the stops I was making, and it was already getting late. So the next day, I was at home and I had felt like I peed in the bed, but it would come to find out my water bag was leaking. So instead of me immediately calling 911, I wanted Robert to go with me to the hospital because I knew I had to go in the ambulance. So I went walking down the street through the neighborhood looking for him, trying to figure out where the hell he was so that we could go. When I found him, we got an ambulance. We went down there only to be turned around and sent back home, y'all. They said my water bag was leaking, but they still sent me back home, which was dumb. Because the next day after they sent me home, I went to a different hospital that wasn't even where my doctor worked, and I insisted that they see me and keep me and get the baby out. So a doctor that wasn't even my doctor ended up delivering my baby. He didn't know why they sent me home. I didn't know why they sent me home, but I couldn't argue with them because that's their job, not mine. So um, these births I'm talking about now are really easy. So it's not really much to tell. I was in labor a few hours with him. Literally, all of my kids, except the 2 C-sections, I was in labor with all of my kids exactly 8 hours. I kid you not. I don't remember the exact times, but I know for a fact. I have it in their baby books and stuff, but I know for a fact I was in labor with each of them 8 hours. All of the ones that I pushed out natural, that's 5. So moving along from Robert Jr., who was just pushed and he came out. Then we go to Amia. Amia was a tough little cookie too, but it is what it is. I was living with my sister at the time when I was pregnant with Amia, and I had a scheduled induction with her because the doctor didn't want me to. I was really big with her. I was like really fluffy, so I don't know if he was scared of something being wrong with me or wrong with her, but they scheduled me to come in at 5 o'clock in the morning to be induced. So my sister dropped me off, went to work, and came back. And I sat in the hospital for the longest, bored out of my mind, until, you know, the pain started kicking in when they gave me the Pitocin or whatever. That happened really quick. Everything moved pretty briskly after that. When my sister made it back from work, she came in the room, y'all, and I did not want to play. I was in pain, and they wasn't giving me nothing for the pain. So she came in, and she was like, oh, you still ain't had the baby? Yeah, yada, yada, yada. So I got talking crazy to her. She's a nurse, so she wanted to break my water bag. She went around hunting in these people's tools and stuff. And she said, I found a thing. This is what they use to break your water right here. Let me break your water. So me and her was arguing back and forth, and I told her she was not going to get down there and break no water. Then this fool, I guess she was trying to perk up my spirits and make me laugh. She found some KY jelly, put it on her eyebrows, and I kid you not, when she put this stuff on her eyebrows, it locked up, turned white, and looked like snot flaking from her eyebrows. So that was like the dumbest. I was mad and laughing at the same time. She really made me mad. But then when me and her was playing, I was hungry, and she was eating in there, and I was getting on her by coming in there with food and not bringing it for me. This fool said something to me, and I sneezed, and then I grabbed down, and she was like, what's wrong with you? I say, I feel my baby head. She was like, you lying. And she went and looked under the table. They hadn't even broke the bed down yet, y'all. I was still on the bed with a bottom that wasn't there. I wasn't on a regular bed. They had me on like the delivery bed that they break down and put your feet up in the stirrups and stuff. So the stirrups were not up. It was nothing down there to catch her if she would have fell. So I had to hold my hand there. And when she ran out to get the nurse came in. The nurse was like, no, it's not time yet. And when she looked down there, she was like, oh, it's time. And she ended up having to deliver my daughter because we didn't have time to wait on the doctor. You know, by the head being out, like literally they could see my baby's eyes. That's how how much her head was out. So that's how she came out. And then she came out super, super white and had to be put under the doggone light for yellow jaundice for days. And then when they let us go home, they told me to put her in the window and take her clothes off and just let her sit in the sun until her color started to change. So I had to do that for a while. After Amia is Makia. Y'all, Makia birth is where shit gets real, okay? It gets really real for this 5th and final, you know what I'm saying, natural birth. And I say that because it was during a time that Hurricane Ike hit Houston. And we were living in one spot and our power went out. Y'all, we slept through the storm, mind you. But when we got up the next day, we didn't have no power. And me being big and about to pop, I didn't like to be hot. So my friend just happened to pop up. It was like, God do everything for a reason, because she popped up and I didn't even know she was coming. She came to the house, picked all of us up, took us to her house, and we ended up staying over there because our apartment had gotten, you know, messed up from the flooding and the rain and all of that stuff. So we went from there back to my mama's house. My mama lights got turned back on, so we went to see how everything in our apartment was, and we had our little meeting with FEMA and all of that stuff. So we ended up staying in my mama's house. Well, no, let me go back. Before we went back home, I went to the doctor because I was having pain. And they sent me home. They told me that I wasn't in labor. And at that point, I was over because I was tired of people telling me what I should have been experiencing and that I wasn't in labor when I knew I was in labor. And they sent me home that day. So when I left the hospital, we went to my mama's house. And she was at work. It was me, Robert, the kids, and my little brother, JJ. Me and Robert got into an argument, y'all, behind the air conditioner because he wanted to turn the air conditioner down because he said he was hot. And I told him don't touch my mama air conditioner because she didn't want it to be touched. So he got mad, called his sister, and left me at home by myself with the kids and my little brother, knowing that I could have had the baby at any time. So that night I was sleeping and we was on an air mattress in the living room. I never forget it because it was the most uncomfortable thing. And because of the flooding, it was ants coming in my mama's house. So the ants were getting in the bed with us. So I picked the kids up and took them and went and put them in the room with my brother. And at that time, I just couldn't go back to sleep. I was feeling kind of weird. And the pain started coming. So yeah, I was literally trying to do everything to course myself through the pain. And I didn't want to call 911 right then because I was like, I didn't have enough kids to know when I'm just really, really ready to go. So I crawled around the house. I kept running back and forth to the restroom because it felt like I had to poop. You know, I laid in my mama's bed. I tried to wipe. I did all kind of stuff I could do to try to make myself comfortable at that moment. So I remember going to the restroom one more time, and my oldest daughter, Leah, at the time, she came running and she was like, you okay? And I was like, I'm good. So I sat on the toilet, and when I stood up, I just felt the water break, and it came down. And I was looking at the tub because my mama's restroom, the toilet was right here and the tub was right here. And I'm like, okay, can I run some water and get in the tub, or should I just stand here over the toilet? But before I can make that decision, baby, Makia was in the toilet. She had fell out and slooped. So Leah was standing in the doorway looking at me, and she said, ah! And I looked at her and I said, ah! So we both screaming, y'all. I kid you not. This was so funny. And JJ came running in. That's my little brother. He came running in out the room. He was like, what's wrong with y'all? And I was looking down in the toilet, and my baby was looking up at me. But her eyes was blinking, so I knew she was okay. She just wasn't making any noise. So I scooped her up. Well, no. I had him call 911 because I didn't know if I was supposed to pick her up or leave her in the toilet. Like, I didn't want to break anything, do anything, mess up the umbilical cord, do none of that. So he called him, and they was talking to him on speaker. And he was like, the lady said, pick the baby up. So I scooped her up out of the toilet. Good thing it was clean, y'all. It wasn't nothing in that toilet because she probably would have got left in there. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But I scooped her up, and I walked kind of hunched over because we were still connected by the umbilical cord. So I walked hunched over, and we went and sat in my mama's bed. Now, mind you, y'all, my mom was so pissed off. I set my bare ass on her bed with all of that gook and stuff that comes out from when you have a baby. And when I left, she called me. She was like, you left all this stuff in my bed? I got to throw my bed away? I'm like, really? I just had a whole human at home. No drugs, no nothing. But the EMT couldn't get through at the time because the tree had fallen on the main street they needed to get to me on. So when they got there, I'm moving too fast. For one, we was on the phone with 911. My little brother took his string, his brand new shoestring out of his new kicks for school, y'all, and tied it around, and they talked him through how to tie off the umbilical cord. He measured it with a ruler and everything. I still say me and him should have got paid for that birth because ain't no doctor deliver her. We did that. But anyway, the EMT came, y'all. That was the most embarrassing moments out of having kids and being at a hospital. At a hospital is different. Now, mind you, when a bunch of big dudes come to your house to pick you up, the gurney is outside. I had to walk to the gurney with no panties on, no pants, no blanket, no towel. They put my baby in this foil bag and had me walk to the gurney naked and get on it. And then they put her on my chest in a foil bag and laid a sheet over me and rushed me to the hospital downtown. Out of all the births I had, that was the easiest one because I've always wanted a home birth, even though I didn't want it like that. But I can understand how people that have home births have a better experience because you don't have people yelling at you. You don't have people telling you what you can and can't do. You don't have nasty attitude having nurses, and all of that crap. So to say I was in pain the way I was and all of that stuff, it was still the easiest pregnancy and delivery ever because I didn't have nobody around me telling me what to do. I coached myself through it. It was all in my mind, and I made it through, and my baby was healthy. She was actually 10 pounds. You do the math. 10 pounds. I pushed out with nothing. And the worst part of that delivery was when I got to the hospital and they had to give me Pitocin to get that sac out. That was the worst part because I had already had a baby. I had already went through the labor and the pain, and they had to put me back in pain to get that daggone sac out. So that was the worst part. But yeah, that was my experience having a home birth. Baby number 5. On to baby number 6, who was Jaden. That's my firecracker. He was my first C-section. I went to the hospital with him because I was having pains at home. And when I got to the hospital, unbeknownst to me, they didn't give me anything. His feet was hanging out. One foot was all the way out. And the doctor said he would have had to put his fingers from here to here on both hands in there to turn my baby around. And I told him, hell no, cut me. That was the beginning of my first C-section. So they took me back, got me prepped. Y'all, I was scared as hell. I was scared out of my mind because I didn't know what to expect. I had never had a C-section or drugs before, and I had always been scared of getting an epidural because all of the stories I've heard from the girls that I knew that had kids and had epidurals, if you move, you get paralyzed. So I was shaking like a leaf in there when the anesthesiologist was trying to stick that needle in my back. But that C-section was better than the last one that I had because I guess because I didn't know what to expect, and when I did it, it went so quick. But when they got him out, everything was cool. Only thing I didn't like is the fact that I couldn't move my legs, and they had these little things suctioning me so that I wouldn't get blood clots on my legs. So that was Jaden. And Cameron was pretty much the same. I had a C-section with him because the doctor said I had to get one. They didn't have that option where I can get the have him vaginally after a C-section. They didn't give me that option. They just told me I had to have that C-section with Cameron because I had one with Jaden. So when I went in with Cameron, I knew what to expect, but it went completely freaking wonky because the anesthesiologist they sent in there for me was a student, and he had the man behind him telling him what to do, so he didn't know what he was doing. That man ended up sticking me in my bag. He numbed only my left side of my body in the back and gave me too much medicine. Then he had to dig the needle around in my back to numb the right side as well for me not to feel nothing on this side when they went in to cut and get the baby out. Y'all, that was hell that I went through with that. And then he ended up giving me so much medicine that I was not just numb from my waist down. I couldn't feel my arms. My neck was going a little numb. So I was kind of moving around because I was scared. I didn't want to lose feeling in my body because I thought I was going to be paralyzed. So the doctor was like, no, one of the nurses behind me was like, if you don't stop moving, they was going to strap me to the table. So I told him, the hell you is. And I meant that. We was going to fight up in there with every ounce of energy I had from here up, since I couldn't move nothing from below. But he was like, just stay still. So I just kind of had to relax myself. Then they put the oxygen on, and I felt the tugging. And then when he finished taking the baby out, he was like, now we're about to tie your tubes, because yes, I asked for them tubes to be tied up, snipped and clipped. They didn't burn them, because he said they don't do that anymore. So even though I know that's a lie, because people do what they want to do. I know of people that have gotten their tubes tied after me and got them burnt, but they've been working for me this long because Cameron is 8 years old and I had no more babies. Store is closed on this end. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. I know I went kind of fast, so if y'all have any questions, hit me up in the comment section and I would be more than happy to answer any questions you might have about my births, because that's them in a nutshell. That's my 7. That's just really it. I wanted to share that. It was supposed to be me eating my Funyuns and drinking my juice and telling y'all, but I ain't none of my Funyuns because I want to tell y'all about the births. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out our other channels. We have our family channel, the Barnes Family Channel, and I am editing a video for that we did that needs to be put up soon. So be on the lookout for that. And also check out our cooking channel. I just put a video up yesterday of me making loaded potato casserole, which was really good. I might I add. So you guys need to check that out. I'll put the descriptions to those. I mean the links in the description box below to those. So make sure you check out those 2 channels. And yeah, you guys be blessed. It's Saturday. I'm not about to do anything. I think I'm about to finish watching. I actually started watching the old episodes of Full House the other day. So Michelle getting big now, so we get into the good stuff. And it was kind of, I just kind of wanted to go back and watch those, because I just watched the last episodes of Fuller House. Yeah, I love that show, and I love how they redid it. I hope they come out with some more episodes too, despite all the stuff that was going on with that. Anyway, I'm about to go. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and yeah, bye.